Hi again. Here we are to continue talking about table views. And in the last video, we set up a table view that displayed all of the strings in this array. Now what I'd like to do is I'd like to set up our table view so that we can tap on one of the rows and go to a detail view that displays the information about the row or the cell, right? Okay. So what we need to do is there's a couple steps to this. So our first step here is to head back to Storyboard and create another view, okay? So here I am in Storyboard. I'm going to open up the sidebar here and scroll to the top of the object palette and find a new view controller. So the very first one is just a plain, vanilla view controller with no special features. So I'm going to grab this one and drag it into Storyboard. Okay, so there's my new view controller. And then what I want to do is create a segue from the table view cell to the view controller. So you can click on the table view cell. Sometimes these are a little funny. If you click on it sort of twice like that, you're kind of selecting the inner item and not really the cell. But if I click on it like this and just the little box there is showing, I'm actually selecting the cell. There's a couple ways you can confirm this. If you look in the property inspector, it'll say table view cell here if you have the right thing selected. You'll see if I click it a second time, it says view, right? So really I'm selecting now the view that's inside that cell. The second way you can confirm this is to open up the little sidebar here by clicking this button, and you can see kind of a hierarchy of all of the objects in your view controller here. So you can see when I click here, I've got the table view selected, and this is the table view cell. And you can see, like, if I click on it here, the table view cell is selected, and if I click it again, it moves one step further to the content view. So we want to make sure the table view cell is selected, okay? And you can actually drag from this. What I'm going to do is hold the control key and drag from here over to the other view. And if I just cancel that and do it again, I can actually do it from here too. So if this is easier for you, you can, control click on the cell here in the outline view and drag over to the new view controller. So either one of those does the same thing. Okay? So, let me do that one more time. Okay, so then you should get this menu here, right? So what we want to do is we want to find, it says selection segue, and we want to find the show segue. Okay, so I'll choose show. And then we should see the segue here. It shows us a little arrow with kind of a little box and another smaller arrow inside it, right, pointing to the left. Okay, so that means when we, if I click on this, you can see this guy gets selected there. So it means if we click on this cell, then we'll go to this view. Okay. So every segue is also an object itself, and it has properties. If you click on the segue here, you can give it a name. So I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to say to details segue. Segue, like that, right? And then I'll copy the name there. We might go back and copy this again, but I'm going to copy it to the clipboard so I don't forget it. Then you can always go back and look at this if you forget, right? So anyway, so there's our segue there. And we need to do one more thing while we're here. Okay, so what we'll do is we need to add a navigation controller, okay, because that kind of keeps track of our navigation, and it'll give us a nav bar at the top also. So I really need to put the nav bar or the navigation controller here in front of the table view, so it kind of connects to the table view and then to the other view. And there's sort of a shortcut that lets us do that. We can set it up manually with Storyboard, but we can also use the editor menu to kind of insert a navigation controller for us. So what I'm going to do is click on the view controller up here. Make sure it has that blue outline all the way around the box, right? So you're not selecting just the element inside. Like, click outside here, right? Or you can click on this thing. And then go to the editor menu and choose Embed in Navigation Controller. And there we go, right? So now here's our navigation controller, and it should say navigation controller, and then it has a different type of segue. This is called a relationship segue, okay? Because the The table view is now the root view controller for this navigation controller. So as the root view, it'll be the first view that the navigation controller displays. And anytime you work your way into the navigation here and you work your way down into the content, you can always jump back to the root view, okay? Or you can just go back one view at a time also. Also, when we do the navigation controller, it comes up with a nav bar here, and it will give us a back button. So anyway, so there's the whole setup, okay? So now we're all ready to go. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll continue in the next video.